Hello, I'm the art teacher, and in this video I'm going to show my third grade students how to draw a stacked sandwich. First of all, I'm going to introduce the book Hannah's Tall Order. It's a wonderful book. Linda Vander Hayden is the author, and the illustrator is Kayla Heron. Since I'm the art teacher, I am more interested into the illustration than the story, although the storyline is very, very good. And it has a punch line at the end that I'm not going to reveal. It's a really good book. You should get it and read it. Now, Kayla Heron, I saw her artwork in this book. It's really good. I looked her up on the internet and I found some really interesting things. Here's a picture of her right there. Pretty cool. And she gives you a lot of bio information. If you look up her name, she has a website, Kayla Heron. And here's another bigger picture of the book that's in the book. It's a story about this girl, Hannah, who wants to build a sandwich from A to Z. And that's the whole book. You go through one thing after another and adding these things up, and she gets a very big stacked sandwich. Stacked sandwiches are nothing new. The story, how they came about, was that's the neat thing. But stacked sandwiches in themselves have been around, well, back probably in the 40s, such as a Dagwood, old-time comic book, comic strip in the funny papers, way back when I was a kid. Had all sorts of stuff, a lobster, egg, fish, the whole bit. So this is called a Dagwood because that's the character's name, and then the Dagwood sandwich is just another name for a stacked sandwich, just much like Hannah's here. But instead of doing a Hannah style where you go from A to Z, we don't really have time to do that. What you are going to do is, or what my third graders are going to do, is come up with a stacked sandwich according to their name. They can use their first name or their last name, either way. And just to give an illustration, if your last name happened to be Smith, that would be an S-M-I-T-H, not original, I know, it's just something quick and easy. You would do this. That's your letters of your name. What kind of foods would you have that you like that starts with the letter S? And in reality, it could be pretty far-fetched too. So you just think about that for a little bit. For instance, if it was me, I would want to do like salmon. But you can do all sorts of different foods there. For an M, I'm going to do mandarin, oranges, mandarin. I'm not sure I'm spelling that right. Oranges. Again, you could do all sorts of things that come with the letter M. And I, ice cream. That's the first thing that pops in my head. If you go with the first thing that pops in your head, those are the things that will probably be more creative. T, I'm thinking taco. And H, I'm going to put down honey. So those are the things that are going to be in my sandwich. Now, that's not very stacked, is it? So you could just do your last name, or you could do your first name and then your last name. But for this video, I'm just going to do the last name Smith because I need to keep it short. Okay, so let me turn this over. This is how you do it. You don't start from the top, you start from the bottom. And you're going to make a plate here. But before you do the plate, you have to make that first piece of bread. So I'm going to zoom in really quick here. So my first piece of bread is going to be here. Just like that. Now, you really can't see that too well because I drew it lightly, just like you're supposed to do. So let me do it a little darker. But you have to understand, you all have to understand, yes, no, yeah, you. You have to understand, you have to draw softly because you're going to do some erasing. Okay, the last thing was honey. Excuse me, the last thing was honey. So I have to think in my head, what would honey look like on a piece of bread sideways? So I'm going to zoom in a little closer. So honey, if you pour honey down onto the bread, it's going to spread evenly and then drip off the sides. So, and if this is going to be on a plate, I'm going to have a honey dripping this way. It's going to come evenly across the top. Honey dripping off this way. Then it's going to go off the sides, even dripping this way a little bit. Dripping, dripping, and a big old drip right there, and then just like that. Now, the next step would be to erase some of that part. So you would get your eraser, you would erase the top part of the bread. Now let's say you didn't do honey. Let's say you did whatever it was. You have to envision what would it look like sideways. Sideways, not from the top, but sideways. So there, now you can see how if I drew lighter, this would erase easier. Okay? So the next thing would be tacos. Oh my goodness. I wish I had a taco to look at. So I have to think in my head, what does a taco look like? And I might have to draw some on the side or get a side piece of paper and practice drawing it sometimes. Or maybe even look up on the internet the word taco to get a picture of what it might look like. So I'm just going to guess right here. Coming up here. And let's do another one. Something like that. So I've got tacos that I'm going to fill up with stuff later on. And then now, you can add a piece of bread in between every single item, or every other item, or not at all. In my case, I'm going to put a little piece of bread right there. I'm going to try and make sure they're even a little bit. And then the next thing would be, if this was honey and that was tacos, the next one would be I for ice cream. So then I'm going to do a little scoop right there, and do another little scoop right there. I think I'm going to do 3 scoops. Three scoops of ice cream. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. I know you were probably yelling at me saying, pull it down, pull it down. Okay, so there I have honey, tacos, bread, ice cream, and mandarin oranges. Mandarin oranges are these cute orange pieces that almost look like beans, really. They're like huge beans, but they're orange. They're very tasty. If you ever have eaten a mandarin orange before. And I can put little curved lines. Of course, what will really make them look more like mandarin oranges is once I color them in. I think I'm going to put another piece of bread right here. Right on top. Of course, you can put condiments like mayonnaise, mustard, and all the other kind of stuff in there. But right now, I'm trying to get across a name. Salmon. So let's see if I can get a salmon in here. Kind of a fish. It's going to be between 2 pieces of bread. So put a little thing. I'm trying to think, what does it look like sideways? And I put a little cross eyes there because I want it dead. And I'm going to get my little fins. And then I can do scales with this too. If you do, if you do a lot of detailed work, it really adds to your picture. So if you do a lot of scales on it all the way down, and then of course add the next piece of bread here. And once you get your sandwich done, I'm going to back this up a little bit so you can see the bigger picture. Once you get your sandwich done, on the bottom, you're just going to make a plate by doing this. You're going to make a kind of an oval starting here. And I'm going to put a smaller oval in the middle. A lot of times those plates have that inner circle there. And I can make my plate a little, instead of just making a thin line, I'm going to make it a little thicker line here. Just like that. Now I need the table to separate itself from the wall, so I can draw a line anywhere around here. So maybe here. So this could be the table it's sitting on, and this part up here could be the wall. The wall. Now the part comes into is coloring this in. You can use markers, you can use crayons, you can use coloring sticks like I like to use. You can use color pencils. A variety of things you can choose. It really changes the whole picture. And I actually have done this with some coloring sticks. Here's my version. That is my sandwich with the name Smith. Salmon, S. M, mandarin. I, ice cream. T, taco. H, honey. So when someone sees this, it's almost like a code where you can tell someone's name. And I did a crayon, I colored, not crayon, I did my coloring sticks with one color here, blue, and red down here. Oh, by the way, just so that people would know that this is honey. Yeah, you see it, a B. That would give them a clue that it's honey and not mustard. Because I've got a B there. Okay. So, and then I did a rubbing. I had some textured wallpaper that I put behind this, and I did a rubbing which gives this a wallpaper look. I did the same thing for the tabletop. So anyway, that is my stacked sandwich right next to Hannah's stacked sandwich. And I'm really looking forward to see what kind of stacked sandwiches you guys can get. Remember, just about anything goes. You can even have hard-boiled eggs in the shell in your sandwich. You know, it's up to you. You can put a snake in your sandwich. I've seen some where they had a pencil in their sandwich. So it's going to be really, really up to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing your sandwiches. See you next time.